Another day, another video about the Montreal Canadiens and their top dogs. We keep on making videos about these guys, but it's for good reason, and I feel like a lot of the audience feels like this type of content is warranted, especially after all the years of suffering that Canadiens fans have had to endure. Okay, I guess maybe it's a bit unfair to say years, plural, because it really was just one bad season after the team went to the gosh darn Stanley Cup Finals, but let's go over to Nick Suzuki and Cole Caufield once again, the dynamic duo here for the Canadiens, and go over a few subreddit posts made on the Habs sub that I thought were interesting enough to bring up here on the channel. One of them was posted by Weimar Street Crust, and the other one was posted by Not Joe Moses, and they both kind of go over Suzuki and Caufield, just talking about how good these players have really been. Now, just to get things out of the way before anybody goes out there and tries to label me for making videos a little bit too early, right now, Suzuki and Caufield in the 2022-2023 season have 15 and 14 points on the year. Caufield has 8 goals and 6 assists for 14 and 12 games. Suzuki has 8 goals and 7 assists for 15 points in 12 games. You could see Monahan, you could see Doc and Anderson and everybody else after that, but pretty much, I mean, Suzuki and Caufield are doing the brunt work of offensive productivity on this team. Doc is pretty much the next best option here. However, when you go over to this first post made on the subreddit by Weimar Street Crust, it goes over how Suzuki and Caufield have both been point-per-game players since Marty St. Louis came in. Firstly, before we actually talk about the numbers, I will say that "We Are All Canadiens" thing at the top corner of the graphic right there, that's totally a ripoff of the "We Are All Canucks" slogan that the Canucks used a few years ago. Yeah, don't think you were going to be able to get away with that. No. I've got the memory of an elephant when it comes to Vancouver Canucks-related things, and that "We Are All Canadiens" slogan rips off the Canucks graphic tenfold. But either way, Nick Suzuki, since the coaching change, has played 49 games played. He's averaged 20.53 of time on ice per game. He's got 20 goals, 29 assists for 49 total points. Quite literally a point-per-game player. Meanwhile, if you go over to Cole Caufield and see what he's done in the 49 games played he's had since the coaching change, 18.04 time on ice per game. That definitely beats the lower fourth-line-ish caliber ice time that he was given under Dominique Ducharme during some parts of last season. And in the 49-game sample that Caufield has had, he's got 30 goals, 19 assists for 49 total points. And that's honestly great. Like, I know it's a common philosophy, it was articulated by Will Scouching actually a few years ago, but if a prospect is scoring way more goals than they do assists, then there's probably something going on there. Because it's difficult to see a guy in the junior leagues or the NCAA or elsewhere in Europe and the junior leagues over there scoring way more goals and realistically expect that quality of their game to translate to the National Hockey League. However, for Cole Caufield, it appears that that's definitely been the case. He has always been much more of a goal scorer versus playmaker, assist guy, and it's not like he sucks at playmaking. Nah, he's really good at reading offensive situations, exposing open lanes, and finding teammates when applicable. It's just Caufield himself is confident enough to know that his shooting ability is so above and beyond everybody else's that there's probably a higher likelihood that the puck goes in the net when he takes a shot rather than throwing it out in front for a cross crease or something. He is just that good, and ever since his NTDP days, he has been a goal-scoring machine everywhere he has gone. More goals than assists consistently, and I mean, this season it's not all too different, so seeing that St. Louis has gotten 30 goals in 49 games played out of this guy, and 19 assists too, that's definitely not something that surprises me. Let's do 30 divided by 49 multiplied out by 82, and see, since St. Louis took over, how many goals Caufield is scoring over an 82-game pace. And right away, there you go, 30 divided 49 multiplied out by 82 is 50.2, so he's on pace for 50 goals. And this sample size has been sustained since the latter part of last season. Man, did I think that Caufield would be a 50-goal caliber guy right off the bat? No, admittedly, but I always thought that that was the ceiling. It's just kind of crazy that he's been scoring at that sort of a pace ever since Martin St. Louis took over. You gotta remember, before St. Louis was here, Caufield had like 1 goal. It was pretty bad. I get why now Dominique Ducharme went out there in the radio and said, yeah, I wish Caufield scored 40 goals when I was around. Hey, Dominic Ducharme. That's nice. I wanted to showcase a comment thread here on the subreddit as well. 30 goals in 49 games played is absolutely naughty. That's a 50-goal pace, Mustafar says. Dr. Livingstone then replies, yeah, and it's not a hot streak, it's just his normal pace. No empty net, no lucky goals, and on top of it, that's with a very bad power play. With a guy like Markov on the power play, he would have at least had 5 more goals in 49 games played. And all power play wishes aside, I definitely do acknowledge that Caufield is one of the top goal scorers and even strength point producers in general in the entire National Hockey League. If you go over to the NHL.com's website and you see player stats right here, if you sort this by even strength points, Cole Caufield is right up there. He is 6th overall, tied with Brady Tkachuk, Martin Necas, Gabe Vilardi, Jesper Bratt, Pasternak, Kucherov, and I think that's about it. 2 behind, McKinnon, Terry, 1 behind McDavid, Carlson, and Matthew Tkachuk. By the way, Eric freaking Carlson. Love that guy. And then, of course, if you go to even strength goals, Cole Caufield is right there, 2nd in the NHL, behind none other than Eric Carlson. That is really great for the guy, man. He's outscoring everybody in the league at even strength. Eric Carlson, calm down, bro. It's just a game, man. But either way, Cole Caufield has been a beast, and to further cement that point, we're going over onto another post made on the Canadian subreddit by Not Joe Moses. Don't get too excited by these on-pace stats. 103-point season confirmed. What they did was they linked the ice.nhl.com fantasy player stats page, and look at this. If you know what this is, then I salute you, my friend, because this right here is the NHL's website before the NHL's website looks like how it does now. You could even see on the top, there are the old logos for the Canucks, and what other old logos are there over there? I think it might just be the Canucks, actually. Yeah, but there's no Seattle, there's no Vegas on here. This is the old website. Oh, the Blues logo. That's old, I'm pretty sure. The Sens as well. Yes, I missed out on that one. There are a few older logos on here. This website was the one they used pretty much from like 20... whatever, I know it was there in 2011, up until the recent rebranding that had everybody kind of upset when it was first introduced. But either way, you can see the 82-point paces for all these players on the Montreal Canadiens. And, as we had noted, because you looked at the thing earlier in the video, Suzuki and Caufield are still number 1. Over the span of 82 games, Suzuki is on pace for 103 points, Caufield is on pace for 96 points, Doc is on pace for 68, and then it goes Monahan, Edmondson, and Anderson with their 41, 36, and 34. Of course, Edmondson has only played 2 games, so this number might be a little bit skewed. And of course, you have Slafkovsky, who has 26 goals as his pace with 0 assists, because the guy doesn't have an assist yet, oddly enough. But it is interesting to note that Suzuki and Caufield legitimately are on pace each for 50 goals. And of course, seeing Caufield be in the 90-point territory, Suzuki at the 100-point territory, makes it even more fun to acknowledge where this team is going to go. Caufield is on pace for 328 shots. That's crazy. That's like, what's the math right there? 328 divided by 82. That's 4 shots a game. Like, the guy is a shot-generating machine, and I think a lot of Canadiens fans are familiar with that now. It's just kind of funny how that's being amplified even more by the NHL's Fantasy Player Stats website. I guess all we can do now is hope that the rest of the Canadiens, except for Doc, I guess, really go out there and start showing off that depth scoring still exists on this team. She said More Snow went out there and commented this: what's been extremely disappointing this year is our lack of scoring depth. We're effectively a one-line, 2-player scoring team, plus whoever competes on that line. I expected us to score lots and for that to be spread out. It simply hasn't been the case. However, on the other hand, the defense and goaltending has been respectable. Sean PSC replies saying, that's selling Doc short. I think he has notably boosted the play of every line configuration he's been on. Now that he's playing with the 2 best players, all 3 have exploded. And so, heading into the next few weeks, I guess all we can do is hope that Suzuki and Caufield end up fulfilling that 55-goal pace, because, I mean, if the Canadiens get a 50-goal guy, when was the last time they had that? The 90s, Stéphane Richer? I think that's what it was. It's been a long time since this team has had a 50-goal score, but either way, talk to the comments your thoughts about the Montreal Canadiens and their point production paces from guys like Caufield and Suzuki. Quick question for the end of the video: who finishes the season off with more goals, Suzuki or Caufield? They're at the same rate right now, but Methinks that Caufield is likely going to get the edge sometime soon. But talk to the comments, your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this footage. Rolls 99. And bye.